Welcome back to The Person Everyone Needs. I am your host, Webb Hoggard, and I think we're going to end our conversation on cultivating the inner life, working on our inner world. Last week we talked about habits, and I just want to recommend a book because we're sitting here. First of all, there's two books. One book is Atomic Habits by James Clear. It's a phenomenal book. It's a really good, fun read. He's a great energetic writer. There's another more tedious read that I actually have deemed one of my life books. It's one of the most important books I have ever read, and it's called The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. It's incredible. It's incredible. If you've got time, if you want to better yourself, I encourage you to get that 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. If you want to be a growing person, man, there's just so much content out there today to help you do that. But we're talking about habits that will help cultivate the inner life. And I'm trying to give you very simple habits, things that I've mentioned to you. These are not hugely complex. They may not even change your life. You may already be doing these things. Some of these things you're already doing them. So what I said last week was you should read your Bible. You should have a gratitude journal. You should drink water more than anything else. You should go on walks. And then the last thing I mentioned was to take some time in silence and solitude. So today, the 6th thing that I promised you last week, I want to talk to you today about. And because one of the things I do know about cultivating your inner life is making sure that you don't contaminate your inner life whenever you have to go into public. So it's very important that you choose the types of people that you're going to be around. I understand that you cannot choose every person in your circle. I get that. You're going to work around people that are different than you are, that believe different, that see different things different than you. I completely understand where you're getting ready to head with that. Like, Webb, I don't have the ability to decide who's going to be around me every day. And I hear you. I completely understand, and you are right. You cannot curate your life to have only the types of people you want to be around in your life. However, you do have probably more control than you think. And you certainly have enough control. You have more control than you think on who gets to stamp your soul. So who gets to contaminate the person that you are? You do have more leeway than you probably think. And so that's what I want to talk to you today. What kind of friends do you need to have in your life? Well, the first thing I'll tell you, I heard this a long time ago, and I believe it's true even today, that if you'll show me the 5 closest people to you in your life, I'll show you your future. The kinds of people that you hang with, and I don't mean just spend time after work. I mean those that you spend time with work. If you're only around unhealthy people, you will probably see trends of unhealth in your life. And so you need to do what you can do to be mentored by people who are better off than you. If you are in a marriage and you want your marriage to be better, don't spend your time with other people who are struggling in marriage. Do what you can to get in a circle with another person who's survived perhaps a difficult marriage, but survived marriage nonetheless. You want to be around, if you are struggling in your health, you need to get around somebody who's doing well with their health. And I'm not telling you that if you're struggling with diabetes or blood pressure or you've gotten cancer that you need to start befriending like bodybuilders. That's not what I'm saying. I'm talking about, do you know anybody who is eating well, that is doing the things they need to do to make themselves better physically? Are there people that can encourage you and walk alongside you and help you? Are there spiritual guides in your life around you, near you, that could help you get better spiritually? Are there Bible people that you could trust to help you understand the Word of God? Are there praying people that could help you pray? Are there people who know how to touch the Lord around you, that you know that when you need to hear from God, that they would be able to help you do that? Are you in circles that, hey, if you want to be financially well off, do you know some people who have done that? Have you taken the time to interview or get to know or ask questions about people who are financially better off, people whose relationships are better than yours, whose finances are better, whose health is better than yours, whose spirituality is better than yours, who have more possessions and know how to manage those things? Management, like emotional management, mental management. Are there people around you who are healthier or better in some way than you are? Those are the kinds of people that you need to surround yourself with, connect with, spend time listening to them. If you have a big project that's coming up, perhaps there's some things that you want to see come to pass in your future. If you've got some things like that coming up, who are you going to ask about it? Do you have people that you can ask about if you were going to try to start a retirement fund or something like that? And I've mentioned this a couple of times in the last few weeks, and it's because it's something that's on my mind these days. So I've been trying to reach out to some people I trust and ask them, if you were going to begin retirement, what would you do? So do you have people like that? When you struggle with your kids, do you have some people that you reach out to and say, hey, we're going through a difficult time. I appreciate your prayers, but if you have any input, I would definitely take it. Okay, I've been talking really fast, but it's because I'm very passionate about this. What happens often is that when we go through a heartbreaking circumstance, it's often in those difficult times that we end up pulling ourselves away from the healthy people in our life. And we try to fight this battle alone. You will struggle immensely to cultivate your inner life if you're trying to always do it alone. You are the primary person who can fix your inner world. You're the only person who can actually fix your inner world. But you need voices around you that are cheering you on, that believe in you, that love you. I have been abundantly blessed in my life to have some people that look at me and say, Webb, I'm proud of you. I'm proud to know who you are. You need some people in your circle. You need some people in your corner. And maybe you've lost that. Maybe you've lost that friend. Maybe that person has passed away. Maybe you don't even know where to turn because you don't know if you can ever get that relationship back again. And I'm going to tell you today, ask the Lord to reveal to you where your people are. Because every person who's ever lived a great life or done anything great, they never did it alone, including Jesus. Peter kept wanting him to focus on the crowds. He wanted him to focus on his influencer status. He wanted to expand the kingdom and the message and the business of it all. He wanted to see it, scale up and become bigger. And yet Jesus kept turning to the 12 and saying, I want to spend time with you. And then he would look at the 3 and I want to spend time with you. And he would focus on the small amount of people around him. And when he needed to get away, he got away. He'd go along with God. He would recharge, but then he would come back to the few, and he would invest in them, the people that were around him, to make him better. Because he knew that those people were the ones that were going to change the world, because his mission wasn't to lead the great enterprise. His mission was come to be a sacrifice. So he invested in those who would take the gospel to the whole world. Who are you with? You say that's not really important, Webb. I'm kind of a loner. I'm introverted or whatever. Even Paul the Apostle was surrounded by great people. And he mentioned them like in every book. He was mentioning people, person after person after person after person, who is important to his life. No great person ever got there alone. If you want to be healthy, look at the people around you. Now, if you decide that somebody around you is not healthy, it's not your job to let that person know that they're not healthy and you got to get away from them. That's not your job. Your job is to do all that you can to find the people that you want to be surrounded by and then become like them. That's a habit in your life that has to be regularly invested in, cultivated, regularly trusted and invested in over and over again. You got to be intentional, resilient. You can't quit just because it's difficult or because you're tired. You have to constantly invest in those relationships. And the more you invest in those types of relationships, the more dividends you'll get out of it. You say, Webb, I've tried before, but I've gotten my heart hurt. And I'm sure you have. But I don't believe that you can become great without help from others. People are important. Relationships are important. So don't allow yourself to allow your perfectionism or your busyness or your hurt, your grief, your frustration to keep you from cultivating this very powerful thing. You need a group of friends that can build you up. So choose wisely. That's the first thing. Choose wisely. Then number 2, commit. And number 3, trust. We live better when we submit our lives to people we can trust. So find some people that live a life that you want to follow, and then entrust yourself to them. Submit yourself to them. Not as their servants, not that they become your master, but submit yourself in such a way that you say, the wisdom God has given you, I want it to be a marker on my life. It's very important. I hope that you'll cultivate that with some people that you love. I believe if you'll do those 6 habits and then add to that tenacity that you're going to be intentional, and then give yourself the grace when you fail, I believe your inner world's going to become better, stronger, and from that place, you'll be the healthy person that others need. People who cultivate their inner world, those are people, and that's a person that everyone needs.